Hello, and welcome back to Mind the Gap, the podcast dedicated to helping you master the nuances of British English. I'm your host, Claire, and today we're discussing the absolute cornerstone of successful language learning, consistency. It's not about how much you study in one go, but how often you show up. This is especially true when tackling a dialect as rich and specific as British English. Now, many of us start learning a new language with a burst of enthusiasm. We spend a whole Saturday cramming vocabulary, watching back-to-back episodes of a British TV series, or drilling grammar rules. But then, the Monday blues hit, and we don't look at a textbook again until the following weekend. Sound familiar? The issue with this cramming approach is that it clashes with how your brain actually learns a language. Think of your brain like a garden. If you water it once a week with a bucket, the topsoil might get wet, but the roots, the long-term memory, the automatic recall will struggle. Consistency, on the other hand, is like watering your garden a little bit every single day. When you're consistently learning British English, even for just 15 or 20 minutes a day, you unlock 3 key benefits. British English has its own unique flavor, particularly in terms of pronunciation. We're talking about non-rhotic R sounds, like in the word car, and distinct vowel sounds, such as the difference between the A in bath versus the American pronunciation. If you only practice these sounds sporadically, your mouth muscles won't develop the muscle memory they need. You'll have to consciously think about every sound. But a short, daily session of listening to a British podcast, mimicking a character from The Crown, or simply reading a BBC News article aloud, helps to solidify that cadence and rhythm. It moves the effort from your conscious mind to your autopilot, making your speech flow more naturally. This is where the science of learning comes in. It's called spaced repetition. Essentially, your brain is designed to forget things you don't use. When you encounter a new word, say, trousers instead of pants, your brain tags it as new information. If you revisit that word a day later, then 3 days later, then a week later, you are telling your brain, this is important. Don't throw it away. Consistent, short reviews are far more effective than an 8-hour session once a month. Daily engagement keeps the language active in your mind, turning fleeting knowledge into solid, long-term memory. It stops you from constantly feeling like you're starting over. Let's be honest. One of the biggest barriers to fluency is the fear of making a mistake. When you're consistent, you slowly build confidence. You see small, measurable progress every day. You understood a bit more of that interview. You used the correct phrasal verb. You nailed the pronunciation of schedule, which, by the way, is usually pronounced schedule in British English. This cumulative progress motivates you and makes you more willing to jump into real-life conversations. You move from saying, I'll study when I have a free hour, to saying, I'll just listen to this quick news bulletin while I wait for the kettle to boil. So, how do you weave British English into your busy life every single day? Start small. Commit to just 15 minutes. It's manageable. You can't use no time as an excuse for 15 minutes. This could be 5 minutes of vocabulary flashcards, 5 minutes of reading, and 5 minutes of speaking practice. Immerse your tech. Change the language settings on your phone, laptop, or favorite apps to British English. You'll passively encounter British spelling, like color with a U and organize with an S. Podcast power. Subscribe to a couple of British-hosted podcasts like this one, naturally, or audiobooks. Listen during your commute, while you're exercising or doing the washing up. Passive listening is still consistent exposure. Diary study. Schedule your 15 minutes in your diary like you would a meeting. This turns it from a wish into a commitment. Maybe it's every morning with your first cup of tea or every evening before bed. Learning British English is a marathon, not a sprint. The key to reaching that finish line, where the language feels natural and automatic, isn't about speed. It's about endurance. And endurance comes from showing up, day after day. Be kind to yourself, celebrate the small victories, and remember, consistency is truly king. That's all for this week's episode of Mind the Gap. Join me next time when we'll be diving into the wonderful world of British slang. Cheerio for now.